In surface chemistry, there are three important phenomena. One is adsorption, colloidal solution, and catalysis. First, adsorption. Adsorption is nothing but if there is any particular component at the surface of the liquid or solid, you know, as uh, as compared to that of present in the bulk, then we say it is more of adsorption. Just like take chalk piece, add it to, dip it in ink. The blue color pigmentation will only stuck on the surface, but water will undergo inside. So water is undergoing absorption as well as adsorption, while the blue part, the ink part, which is the dye part, is only staying on the surface. So the dye part is only undergoing adsorption. Okay. This happens because of residual forces. See, when a particle is present, a solvent particle is present in the bulk, it would have forces of attraction equally balanced from all the direction. So the forces are at equilibrium. But the surface electron will have forces of attraction inside, but outside there are no forces of attraction or which are balancing those inside forces. So which means it has a non-uniform distribution of, you know, uh, particles. Therefore, the forces, if they have to be balanced, that residual forces, the surface forces, which we call it as residual forces, has to be balanced. Then to balance it, these surface electrons will absorb something on them. So due to absorption, those residual forces will balance and the surface energy will start decreasing. Okay. Here everybody. Next. Thermodynamically, how adsorption is defined. You see, adsorption, delta G adsorption is always negative. Why? Whenever there is an adsorption happening, the energy is always released. So it is negative. And during adsorption, the surface particles, mostly they were all gases, right? And they got stuck on the surface now. So their entropy has decreased. So delta S of the adsorption is less than 0. This is negative, this is negative. But the change in the entropy factor is always less in magnitude as compared to the energy released. So this is negative, but this magnitude is more, which will always dominate to make it more. Delta G is less than 0. So adsorption phenomena is more spontaneous because of the more released energy. So energy released is more. So you can see initially adsorption molecules have freedom to move, but after adsorption, they have no freedom. That's why entropy is negative. That's what I have written there. Now see adsorbent. There are two terms we should know. Just like in solution, we have solute and solvent. Here we have adsorbent and adsorbate. So adsorbent is like the solvent and adsorbate is like the solute. Usually the solvent is always liquid, liquid or solid, not gas. So if you have a liquid and some particle is getting adsorbed on the surface, then we call it as adsorbate. And that particle could be a gas particle or a liquid particle. While if I take a metal plate like solid and there is some gas getting accumulated on the surface, then we say this solid is an adsorbent and the gas which is getting accumulated is an adsorbate. Got it? Now see, rate of adsorption decreases over with time. Okay. For example, if you take silica gel, okay, newly brand new shoes which we take, brand new shoes which we buy, especially leather shoes, there would be small packets of silica gel kept inside. Okay. Their idea is to absorb any kind of moisture onto the surface. So they will absorb moisture initially when they are fresh and open surface. The adsorption rate is very high. So they will absorb lot of moisture. Correct. And once the unbalanced forces are slowly getting balanced, now it will take lot more time for adsorption. So therefore we can say rate is decreasing as the adsorption keeps happening more and more. Okay. And adsorption was a surface phenomena, but absorption, absorption is a bulk phenomena. Like I told you, if you take a chalk piece, water is undergoing absorption, but the surface particles, the dye particles, are only undergoing adsorption. Okay. Both adsorption and adsorption usually happen uniformly, which means inside it's not like at some part it is happening more, some part it is happening less. That won't usually happen. And if both phenomena are happening simultaneously, which is what happens with chalk piece. So in chalk piece, absorption is also happening, adsorption is also happening. Then that is called as sorption. Okay, that is called as sorption. So sorption means both absorption and adsorption happening together. Absorption happens in bulk, adsorption happens on surface. Okay. Now, if it comes to adsorption, there is something called a positive adsorption. Positive adsorption means the residual forces here are more, correct? Here, and which means there are more particles here compared to the air particles. ऐसा सोचो, सिलिका जेल पे ज्यादा water accumulate होगा compared to that of water particles in the air, right? So we can say the difference here is like the pressure attained by those gas particles here is more than the outside pressure. Then we say it is a positive adsorption. But if the gas particles are more outside and there are less inside, or rather when we open this, ऐसा हो गया कि यहाँ से gas particles चले गए और यहाँ पे उसका प्रेशर कम हो गया और बाहर उसका प्रेशर ज्यादा हो गया, then we say that it is a negative adsorption. Okay, the negative adsorption is also termed as desorption. It is called as desorption. Clear, everybody? Any doubts so far, everyone?
No, sir.
Right. Now see, this adsorption can be classified into two kinds. One is physical adsorption, which is also termed as physisorption. The other one is chemical adsorption, known as chemisorption. See the differences between them. In physisorption, there is just a weak van der Waals forces of attraction. Okay, this is solid surface which will act like an adsorbent, and the oxygen gas which is getting adsorbed on the surface, it adsorbate. Now, if oxygen gas is accumulating without making any chemical bond and it is just a van der Waals attraction, then that is physisorption. But imagine if this physisorption happens for some time and slowly a bond is forming. Like if you take charcoal and let oxygen adsorb on it, after a time, oxygen will start breaking and start making a bond with the carbon in the charcoal and makes it as carbon and carbon dioxide. If such type of reactions happen and they get accumulated on the surface, then that is chemisorption. Now, the carbon or monoxide and carbon dioxide are adsorbed on the surface. Initially, आया O2 की तरह, but now it is existing like carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide. Okay? Or if I make hydrogen to adsorb on the surface of nickel metal, and nickel is releasing electrons to hydrogen, and it is becoming a positive charge, and hydrogen becoming a negative charge, and both making an ionic bond, then that is also a chemisorption. Clear, everybody? So physisorption is only a feeble attraction. Chemisorption is a complete bond formation. Next, see, physisorption, it is reversible in nature. It is reversible in nature, and as the temperature increases, then bonds will start breaking easily. Correct? While this is an irreversible, chemisorption is irreversible, and if you increase the energy, the bonds will break and it will help to make more chemical bonds. Because for example, यहाँ पर oxygen है. To break this bond, I require some energy. So on heating, instead of escaping out, it might happen कि bond break हो जाए, and then it will start making a bond with the surface. Okay. Next, you have to place it at low temperature for better adsorption. At high temperature, physisorption is unstable. Okay. And chemisorption only happens at high temperature because bond breaking will happen at high temperature. Okay. Next, if you see delta H of adsorption, okay, in physisorption, right, the range of energy released is between 20 to 40 kilojoules. It is only 20 to 40 kilojoules. NCERT is given from 5 to 40. Okay, accept any of that. So 20 to 40 or 5 to 40. But chemisorption is from 80 to 240 kilojoules per mole, which shows that more amount of energy is released in chemisorption. In physisorption, one gas, I can have multiple gases accumulating over the surface because it is simply van der Waal interaction. So there is no specificity mentioned, which means there is no specific type of gas only to be adsorbed. So we can have lot of multi-layers forming here. Okay. First you can have oxygen, then maybe hydrogen, then helium. All different gases can undergo adsorption. While if you look at the metal surface here in chemisorption, you will have only monolayers formed. Okay, monolayers are only formed, which means only one type of a gas is being adsorbed. Correct, and it is highly specific. Like I can't expect nickel metal to adsorb helium or oxygen or nitrogen, but if it is hydrogen, it will definitely adsorb. So nickel is very specific for only hydrogen gas. So that's why chemisorption is highly specific. Clear, everybody? Next, see the potential graph. This graph was asked in 2016. Learn carefully. From, if you look at adsorption, so पहले far distance से आया, and as the adsorption started happening, interaction बढ़ा metal surface और उसके बीच में, मतलब potential energy बढ़ रहा है in the negative scale. So this much amount of energy is released, and if you keep it compressing more and more, it will go up. Here, chemisorption. For chemisorption, what it is, first, X2 has to form X, right? So उसके लिए कुछ energy चाहिए होगा. So this is the required energy. And once you give that required energy, then it will start getting adsorbed so strongly that this value is much higher. Here it is around 80 minus 80 to 240 kilojoules per mole. And then again, if you keep compressing, the potential energy increases. Okay. So here at this point, you can say metal and that halogen bond has been formed, or metal has this X element bond has been formed, which is chemisorption. Clear? So I hope that is clear, everybody. Now, suppose instead of this, if the question is given this way, like metal plus O2 minus का ग्राफ बनाओ, अगर आपको डायरेक्टली बोला कि मेटल और O2 माइनस का ग्राफ बनाओ, O2 माइनस मतलब ये ऑलरेडी टूट के आ रहा है, तो ये तो डायरेक्टली बॉन्ड बनाएगा ना. सो इन दैट केस यू कैन स्टार्ट लाइक दिस कि O2 माइनस को और कोई एक्स्ट्रा एनर्जी नहीं चाहिए टू ब्रेक इट फर्दर. So it is already coming as an ion, attacking with the metal, and it will take it electrons and it will form that this way. So if it is given as O2 minus, and sorry, M plus here, M plus, then you don't have to worry about writing it from here, correct? You can directly start it from here and show that it is making a chemisorption here. Okay, with the graphs? Let's see. Physisorption, activation energy is very low because it is just a feeble interaction. Here, activation energy is very high in chemisorption. Now, chemisorption can only happen after physisorption takes place, okay? And after at a particular increased temperature only. Now, factors that help the adsorption to happen on the solids. First is the nature of adsorbate. Higher the critical temperature of a gas, more it will get adsorbed. Okay. So if you compare SO2 gas with O2, which will adsorb faster? SO2 will adsorb faster because its critical temperature is higher. So अगर कोई gases दिया है आपको, critical temperature नहीं पता, तो ज़्यादा आप molar mass और dipole moment पे जाना. जिसका मोलर मास ज्यादा है, डाइपोल मोमेंट ज्यादा है, दे यूजुअली हैव हायर क्रिटिकल टेम्परेचर. But if the information is already given to you with the data, then higher critical temperature, then more is the adsorption. So critical temperature more van der Waal interactions. Okay. Next, second one is nature of adsorbent. Nature of adsorbent means if adsorbent surface is more open. One second. If we expose more amount of radiation here, yeah, if we expose more amount of adsorbent, more amount of adsorption will take place. Suppose अब ये देखना, ये surface कितना है बेटा? If it is 1 centimeter cube, correct? Then the surface area would be 6 centimeter cube. But if I divide into if I divide into 8 parts of 0.5 centimeters, correct? So I can say that 6 into 0.5 whole square into 8. That will be the total area, no? So area keeps increasing as you make it smaller and smaller. Granular level में लेके जाओगे तो it will become more and more open for the surface. So you can see the smaller parts will give you more surface area by increasing residual forces. Here everybody. For example, activated charcoal. See, charcoal में क्या है, कोई holes नहीं रहते हैं charcoal में, but इसको जैसे आप heat करोगे, okay, उसमें से iodine, phosphorus, sulfur, ये सारे gases निकल जाएंगे, and that would become activated charcoal. Now it has a lot of holes inside. Holes means more amount of surface area is exposed. So more surface area, more adsorption will take place. Right, everybody? Next, temperature phenomena. In physisorption, X by M represents the mass of amount adsorbed by the mass of adsorbent. Usually mass of adsorbent is always constant. At least throughout our chapters, we never change the mass of adsorbent. So M is a constant value. X is the amount that is getting deposited. Okay. So if you see X by M value with respect to temperature, it is always decreasing in this case. While when it comes to chemisorption, with respect to X by M, initially it will increase, reach to a point, and then it will start decreasing. Because initially bond break करने में help कर रहा है. Or this is at this point where the chemisorption happens. Now, once the chemisorption happened, again if you keep heating, वो क्या होगा? It will start, losing away from the surface by breaking itself like this. So adsorbate molecules gain energy and becomes equal to activation energy so that the bonds are formed with adsorbent. But if you keep going for higher temperature, then that adsorbed amount will break with the surface. That's why again the adsorption decreases. ये दोनों ग्राफ भी पूछ चुका है बेटा, प्लीज लर्न करो इसको अच्छे से. Temperature in case of physisorption, in case of chemisorption. Next, pressure. Okay, this is the most asked area in JEE mains. Pressure measure. X by M can also be written as extent of adsorption. X is the amount of adsorbate and M is the adsorbent. Now, usually what has been identified whenever the adsorption happens, this is almost going, in this particular fashion, where initially यहाँ तक almost linearly change हो रहा है, फिर उसके बाद धीरे से bend होते हुए almost constant value पे आ जाता है. And this is an isotherm we have written at a particular temperature. So at a particular temperature, as you increase the pressure, initially it went very nicely, it got adsorbed, but after a time the adsorption got stopped. मतलब वो saturate हो चुका है. Further adsorption is not possible anymore. Now this is at a particular temperature. Like if I put the isotherms for various temperatures, Now at one temperature, this is how you are getting. At one temperature, this is how you are getting. At one temperature, this is how it's getting. At this point, we have reached an equilibrium or saturation. And if you compare x by m values in these three, at this temperature, we have more amount of x by m, which means just now we have learned in physics option that more x by m is more means it must be lower temperature. So T1 must be at lower temperature compared to T2 compared to T3. Okay. So usually as long as temperature is less than 298, ये सिर्फ physics option ही करता है. Chemis option usually room temperatures पे नहीं होता है. So if you are comparing these temperatures at room temperatures, maybe 20 degrees, 15 degrees, 10 degrees, 0 degrees, these are all physics options only. Done, everybody? Now see, if the adsorbent is solid and adsorbate is gas, imagine that on that basis there are some isotherms which has derived, and we call them as Freundlich isotherms, Freundlich adsorption isotherms. This was empirically found based upon the data points. So what has been identified is that if you plot x by m versus various pressure points, then we'll get different pressure points like this. I mean, different points like this. And if you join all of them, we'll get this curve. Okay. So empirically, if you look at it, it is giving us a formula x by m is equal to some constant k into p raised to power of 1 by n. Now this n value can be 0, 1 or between that. It cannot be more than that. See how. If it is at very low pressure, you can see this is almost linearly varying. मतलब ये y is equal to mx की तरह है. इसका मतलब है ये 1 by n का value 1 होना चाहिए. So if 1 by n value is 1, which means n is equal to 1 in this case, है ना? So n value is 1 at low pressure. Next, if you take it at moderate pressure, right? Moderate pressure में क्या हो रहा है? यहाँ से ये इतना region में देखो. So in this region, slowly the pressure, ये pressure के value के basis पे x by m कम होते जा रहा है. So which means 1 by n must be present between 0 to 1. So if it is between 0 to 1, then we can say ये 1 by n का जो value है, right? So that that value will be between 1 by n here. Next, if it is 1 by n is tending to 0, if this 1 by n is tending to 0, then what will happen? Then x by m will become only constant, and that's what you are seeing at high pressure. So high pressure, you will see 1 by n tends to 0. At moderate pressure, it is in between 0 to 1. At low pressure, it is equal to 1. Here, everybody. Now, if you take the log on both the sides, we will get log of x by m is equal to log of k plus 1 by n into log of p. And if you write it as a line equation, so log of x by m versus log of p is an equation of a straight line with a positive intercept and with a positive slope. That is tan theta is equal to 1 by n. Clear?
सर
Yes, beta.
सर बट n का वैल्यू मतलब चेंज भी हो रहा है ना प्रेशर के साथ.
हाँ बेटा.
तो बाद में मतलब वो स्लोप्स ऐसे चेंज होंगे ना, मतलब ऑल ओवर टिल एकदम हाई प्रेशर वो स्ट्रेट नहीं होगा ना लॉग का भी ग्राफ.
n का अच्छा ये वैल्यू एट अ पर्टिकुलर n है बेटा. Got it? This whatever line we are drawing here, correct, is at a particular n value. Okay.
Okay.
Now look at this. What we have discussed earlier, ये Freundlich isotherm, मैंने क्या बोला था? यहाँ पर adsorbate gas ले रहे हैं and adsorbent solid. What if now adsorbent, correct? Adsorbate is solid, which is charcoal, and adsorbent is a liquid. Instead of gas, now we are taking liquid like acetic acid. Acetic acid लेंगे तो क्या होगा? initially let us say acetic acid concentration is C naught, and over the time as the adsorption happens, concentration कम हो जाएगा, and that will be C1 C2 at different times, right? So now instead of pressure, the same equation can be related for concentrations. So x by m is equal to k into c raised to power of 1 by m. So therefore the similar graph at a constant temperature can be established, but this time it is for concentration of adsorbate. So I guess that is clear, everybody. This एक सिंपल से लाइन में दे दिया है एनसीईआरटी में, एक ही लाइन में दिया है that this will also follow similar to Friendly's isotherm. ये फॉर्मूला नहीं दिया है, but it meant the same thing. Okay. Next, Langmuir isotherms. See, this part is not there in NCERT, but it is asked in JEE Advanced. So learn it. What is Langmuir isotherms? This is a theoretical concept based upon certain assumptions. Now see, what is the first assumption? The surface is homogeneous and have fixed number of adsorption sites. It is like a metal surface जहाँ पे number of holes fixed है, okay, and they are all quantized. मतलब there are fixed number of holes present on it, and each adsorption can absorb only one gas particle. So every hole can only absorb one gas particle, which means it is more of a monolayer case. Multi gaseous multi-layer form नहीं कर सकता है. Here you can form only monolayer. Every adsorption site is equivalent. मतलब सबका size, सबका capacity, सबका energy, everything is equivalent. The holes, the adsorption holes sites have the same nature for all of them. So all sites are independently absorbing. So it does not happen like if one of the hole is absorbing, one of the site is absorbing, that will influence the other hole. No, all of them are working independently only. Okay. Next, the adsorption gas behaves ideally in vapor phase. So as long as it is in the vapor phase, we say it is following ideal gas. There is no interaction between adsorbed molecules because they are fixed in independent holes. The holes will not interact. Neither the gas present between them will make any interaction. This is an assumption. Next, absorption is assumed as a dynamic equilibrium. So whatever the absorption is happening, so जितना absorption हो रहा है थोड़ा सा desorption भी हो रहा है, adsorption, desorption, and it is reaching to an equilibrium. Here everybody. देखो डायरेक्टली ये जो 6 मैंने लिखे ना ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है क्योंकि क्वेश्चन में आज तक एब्जॉर्प्शन पे ही ज्यादा क्वेश्चन है. मतलब what are the following assumptions, what are the following assumption in Langmuir isotherms? Okay, so assumptions अच्छे से समझ. Now see, theta is a fraction of adsorbed side, occupied sites. कितने number of sites occupied है, that represents theta, which is the fraction of adsorbed sites. 1 minus theta represents fraction of vacant side. Obviously, if theta is absorbed sides, 1 minus theta would be fraction of vacant sides. Now, if this is a metal surface, this side if adsorption is happening, and from here desorption is happening, they must be in dynamic equilibrium. So I can say rate of adsorption depends upon how many vacant sites are there, isn't it? कितने vacant sites से ज्यादा vacant sites रहेगा तो ज्यादा adsorption होगा, है ना? And it is proportional to pressure also. More pressure, more adsorption. Rate of desorption will be inversely proportional to theta because जितने ज्यादा fractions adsorbed है उतना ability है फिर से desorb होने का. So therefore rate of desorption is directly proportional to theta. And if I put some adsorption constant here, so I'll get rate of adsorption is equal to K of adsorption P into 1 minus theta. But rate of desorption is equal to some constant, desorption constant into theta. At dynamic equilibrium, both should be equal. So I've equated both of them. So I will get K adsorption into P is equal to K desorption plus adsorption into P into theta. So from here, I'll get what is theta, which is K adsorption into P by K desorption plus K adsorption into P. Okay. सो इसको काफी सारे बुक्स में ऐसे लिखा होता है, सम a इंटू पी डिवाइडेड बाय 1 प्लस bp। मतलब ये k एड्सॉर्प्शन बाय k डिसॉर्प्शन कर दो तो a इज व्हाट, k इज इक्वल टू सम कांस्टेंट ऑफ एड्सॉर्प्शन बाय कांस्टेंट ऑफ डिसॉर्प्शन। ठीक है, क्लियर एवरीबडी? सो दैट वुड बी k adsorption by k desorption by this k if you have k desorption adsorption here, that divided by desorption, so that will be 1 by ap, sorry, not bp, ap here. Okay, like this. Now if you look at it, x by m is what, remember from Freundlich equations, that is amount of adsorption for a fixed mass of adsorbent, है ना? So that x by m depends upon कितना amount of fractions occupied है ना? जितना ज्यादा occupied मतलब उतना ज्यादा x by m. So I can say x by m is directly proportional to theta. So I can write x by m is equal to some constant into theta. Theta हमने already एक formula बनाया है, so we can substitute that. So we can get this as k dash into k adsorption by k desorption plus k adsorption. ये k dash ऊपर चला जाएगा. So I can make this as some constant a divided by this 1 plus another constant b. या तो इसको ऐसे लिख सकते हैं, again sorry, again a here. So 1 by a into p by 1 plus ap. So that is, no sorry, bp only, right? This time it is bp because now here the constant is different. Okay, so this is what you would get here, everybody. X by m is equal to ap by 1 plus bp. If you write in terms of theta, it could be, I've written it here, हाँ, theta ऐसे लिखोगे तो some constant, that is ap by 1 plus ap, that is theta. If you write in terms of x by m, this is what you will get, ap by 1 plus bp. Okay. This was 2019's question. In an experiment, 200 ml of 0.5 molar oxalic acid is shaked with 10 grams of activated charcoal and filtered. Find the concentration of filtrate. The concentration of filtrate is reduced to 0.4 molar. Find x by m. M is fixed ना, ये 10 grams है charcoal. X find करना है. Number of moles of solute originally कितना था? 200 into 0.5 मोलार, करेक्ट? ये ओरिजिनल था, उसमें से कितना अमाउंट चला गया? 0.4 में आया, मतलब अभी डिफरेंस कितना है? 0.5 माइनस 0.4, so that is 0.1 molar. This much moles has been adsorbed, so 0.1 into 200 divided by 1000, so that is number of moles of solute. So weight of solute will be number of moles into molar mass. Molar mass of oxalic acid is 90, so it's made as 1.8 grams. So x by m is 1.8 by 10, so 0.18. So that is a fraction of particles which got adsorbed on the surface of 10 grams. Clear everybody? Right? So this is the first part of solutions, which is adsorption.